Hi, as requested, I'm here to walk you through a little bit about uh, how I document things in Figma and the way I usually work. And I chose this feature called reports, which worked on recently in my current company, Chainalysis. So the first thing is that I usually divide these files into two categories. So the first one I call it Scratchpad or brainstorming, if you will, if you wish. And the second one it's called documentation. So this section is the exploration slash ideation phase, and I try to put things in an order that kind of tells the story of the design process. And the second part is should be exactly the mirror that should be shipped. So basically, this is where I hand off things to engineers. Um, so, for instance, in the brainstorming session, we started with some high level exploration. So, I tried to stick with like workflows, and now users could create reports in the platform. Uh, there are like different approaches that we could try. And the fact that we have like a pretty mature design system, sometimes it is easier to sketch these things in high fidelity than in low fidelity. So this is why we see some explorations in high fidelity. But I think when it comes to this part, it's mostly about it. Like diagrams, we try to experiment with some stuff, then we refine it in this new in this other page here. So you can see that things are a little bit all over the place because this is more like a brainstorm, like a sketchboard. At some point, we start prototyping and testing with users. In this case, in particular, since we would have like a pretty big uh, gallery of reports, we wanted to introduce like an AI or like a natural language way of searching for reports. So we try to document that and test it with users. So this is as you can see here, it's a working prototype. And up next, as we were getting mature, we start like getting some references from different places about empty states and more refined states about the cards. And here we reach agreement with the product managers, and we decided on the scope of the eventual MVP, which brings me to the documentation part that I mentioned before. So this, for instance, is the MVP. So this is exactly what we wanted to ship in the first phase. And you can see that I like broke down into uh, a varying detail on each step, on each state of the page. I mean, how users should search for reports and how that research would work, and empty states and loading states. I try to like list examples of the search in which the engineers could understand which info they could put together and which properties we would use. And as we shipped these and implemented these, we went further into more like into improvements and next steps and more reports. So this is an example of an iteration that we did that added three new reports to the page. So for this report, we have these filters. For this other one, we have those. And for this metric, we change it to a pie or a donut chart with, again, different filters. So usually, I mean, this is how I work. If you pick any other document from the company, I mean, you'll see the same structure. I think this is good for engineers, good for everyone. So yeah, I mean, I hope it helps you understand how I usually work. Thank you. Have a good one.